Hello YouTube, welcome to episode 3 of Dwarf Fortress. We are playing in the fortress, the Nobleboulders. When we left off on the last episode, I was staring here at the screen trying to figure out what the heck we're going to do with our stockpile and workshop layout, and I think I've come to... I've come to some conclusions, made some decisions, so we have at least a starting spot here. So what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be utilizing a layout here that was it was actually posted on Reddit for just optimizing where the stockpiles sit relative to the different workshops. Now, I'm not going to be following this exactly to the T, but I'm going to be kind of using it as a guide. One of the things that is missing from here is stone processing as well as gem processing, which is something that I usually tend to do, like rock crafts and then encrust them with gems. They're light, they're easy to move around, you can store them in bins. I just generally find them easy to work with. So I think we're gonna do something like that. So but this is kind of what we're looking at. So I'm just gonna get that out of the way. Pardon me. Swear these allergies are gonna kill me someday. And yeah, so we're just going to get started laying out some stuff here. Before I designate, though, I want to see if our bridge has been finished yet. No, still needs carpentry. Okay. Also wanted to check and see for our livestock. It's like we have two yak cows, but we don't have any male yaks. Which means that we're not really going to be able to reliably use yaks as a food source yet, unless we're able to purchase a yak when the traders show up, which should be sometime in autumn. So that's definitely one of the things we're going to be looking for in autumn is a yak, a male yak. Okay, so. What we want to do here is go down to our workshop level, and we're going to be just look and see where exactly our staircase sits, kind of in the middle bottom. Okay. So what I'm going to do then is dig a tunnel just out the side here. See how much space we have. Okay, and I'm going to want some space on the side there reserved for the workshop. So I'm going to need at least, let's call it 5 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I could compact this a little bit, and actually I might do that, but that's just the maximum space that I could use. So first thing that we're going to do is work on relocating our farms. So let's just get a little path here dug. Oops, that on mine, not on designate. And actually, you know what? Let's remove some of this. Thinking I might be trying to make it too big. So I'm just gonna go in here and plan out everything, and then if we end up needing to shift stuff, then we'll just kind of do it from there. So what I want to do is up in the corner here, I want to set up a little farming corner. So let's plan on going from the entrance here. Let's just go over, I don't know, maybe I did it again. Maybe that far, and then we'll use this as kind of our entrance here. So what we want is we're going to want a stockpile for fertilizer. That can just be a 2x2. That's fine. And then we're going to want one for unprocessed plants. Maybe we'll make those. Maybe we'll make those a little bigger. Make those 2x3, something like that. They don't have to be too huge. Because generally stuff is not going to be sitting in these stockpiles for very long. At least that's the goal. So we are going to need space for some farm plots. So let's just designate some of those there. So we're going to do... we'll do 3x5. And we'll do 4 of those. So I need to fix that. Sorry about that. Here's the entrances, and then we'll go up from there. They get something like that. And I want one more farm plot. So like so. Okay, so then directly across from that end here, we're going to have a 3x3 room for, we're going to have a pair of them here for farmers' workshops. Just put a little exit there. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and bring that over to there. And we can hook that up then, like so. And then we're going to, just off of here, build a slightly larger area here for our millstone / kern. And that's going to need an entrance there to the farms. And then we'll put some space up here for some barrels and some bags. So once again, we're going to do 3x5 for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like so. So that's going to be our little farming corner. And then just below that, I'm going to put a food processing area. So what I plan to do here is set these designations, but I'm not necessarily going to dig it all out yet until I'm ready to go. I'm just trying to get a basic layout going here so that later on when we are ready to transition into some of these industries, we can do so fairly quickly. And this is also a good way to get the skill up on some of our miners and whatnot. Okay, so this over here is going to be our cooking area. So one of these is going to be a kitchen, one of them is going to be your brewery, and then we'll just have some stockpiles for the plant and the brewable plants and the cookable ingredients. 1, 2, 3, 4. Something like that. And then just mirroring that over here. Something like that. So that's that pretty much takes care of our, at least as far as our farming goes. I do want to add in a little area up here, up at the top, for processing our plants that we can use for what's the word for wow, brain fart. Our cloth. So once again, we'll have a stockpile for dye, and then a workshop for the dyer, then cloth stockpile, and then area for the clothier's workshop. And just connecting the ones here. Let's see. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that's not going to work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. I'm a stickler for having rooms being the right size. It's one of those OCD things that I like everything to be evenly laid out, you know, symmetrical and all. I'm actually looking at doing like a fractal design for when we do bedrooms. I think that'd be pretty cool. Just, it's like, yeah, dwarves are very efficient, but they also put a lot of emphasis on like architecture and beauty. So I like having some designs that are functional, and then some designs that are willing to sacrifice some function just for prettiness. Okay, so this over here is going to be a weaver's workshop and then a stockpile for thread. So there is our our cloth industry. So we are going to need a place to do our wood, our metal, and our stone stuff. Let's see. So I'm probably going to do like something for soap here, and then just off to the side I'll put kennels and a butcher shop. And the butcher shop is going to be a little tricky because we need some way to get rid of the miasma. So we're going to have to block it in. We're probably going to block it in, put a refuse pit in, and then put a vent out to the surface just to get rid of some of the nasty smells that the butcher tends to generate. So actually, why don't I lay out the soap industry stuff while I'm right here, because that actually matches or meshes really well with the plant stuff here. So we need a pile for ash, and we need a pile for tallow. And then we will need a place for the actual soap maker's workshop, and then just a place for a stockpile. And we can make this one long and skinny like that. That's fine. That space isn't really being used for anything anyway. Okay, so now let's think about our wood, basically our crafting, our smelting, and our crafting and stuff. So let's see. So what I could do is go down here. I could extend this hallway down, but I think I'm just going to have it do a turn here, and then put the metal crafting stuff down here in this area, and not designate a whole bunch of extra dig stuff while I'm at it. Pardon me, because my meat industry is going to be over here, and I actually might just like put down a couple animal pens, and then just plan on extending down as we end up needing space. So why don't we go ahead and set those, since I already know what the layout for those is going to be. So we're going to need a pretty large area for our animal pens. So we're going to make those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think 5 should be fine. 5 by, let's see, what do we have here? There's 11. That looks a little bigger than I might want, actually. Let's designation. So I want like an area for cages, kind of like a penned-in area, and then an area up top for as a nursery. Oops. About like that. And then we can do that again. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. So this will be for, just for now, we're going to have one for our dogs and one for our chickens. And then as we get more animals, we will add more areas here. Now, I should clarify, I don't exactly tend on butchering dogs. But I'm going to use this area for training war dogs and hunting dogs. Go like that, and then we'll just have a little turn here in our thing. So we want, once again, we'll stockpile here. This is going to be for leather. And then we can put a butcher's workshop there. This is going to be our little refuse pile. And we can just make it bigger as it expands. So we've got plenty of space over here on the side. Just realized that I was pointing at the screen. That's not incredibly useful. And then we're going to want a tanner's shop. And then we're going to need a leather crafter's shop, which I might actually put up here by the cloth by the cloth area, but that would mean that there's a bit of a hike to get from the leather stockpile over to the tanner. So maybe I'll just make a little area right here, and put in the leather workshop right there. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot better. Okay. So that takes care of most of our stuff. So now I just need to put in the metal, wood, and gems and that sort of thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to round this area out. Just make a circle. Let's see. Like so. Okay. So. And then maybe we'll put some paths in the middle here to get out. I might like take this stockpile and flip it up to the top. Maybe change the location of the dyer and the weaver's workshop. So maybe just like mirror this whole bit here. Maybe that way I can have space for a path here to get down. I think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to mirror this whole zone right here. So that means that I need to undesignate, and this is the soap area and the cloth area. So I want my dye stockpile. Oh. And then I want my dyer's workshop right next to that. And then I want my cloth stockpile. And then my clothier's workshop. So there's going to be a link there and a link there. All four of these need to link up, actually. Pass to the out. And then across from that here is our weaver and our thread stockpile. Like that. And then for our soap, then we put our tallow pile, ash pile. That's one thing that kind of irritates me about this layout is the ash pile is going to be over here, and our wood burning stuff is going to be probably down here somewhere. So I might end up putting in a second ash pile. Let's think about this for a second. Soap uses ash and tallow, so it actually doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me to put it up here. So what I'm going to do instead is just make some more of these guys here. So I have room for another set of animal pens there. Oh boy. Yeah. And then I could mirror another one here. Like that. And then I can put my soap stuff actually down here instead. So, and I think that makes a lot more sense, because then that puts my tallow right here, right next to where my butcher is going to be. My butcher is going to be here. Yeah, and then my ash stockpile here. And I'll just put my wood right below that. I think that makes a lot more sense. So, soap shop, soap stockpile, which doesn't necessarily need to be that big, but oh well. Something like that. And then our wood industry. So for our wood industry, we're going to want a fairly large area for the wood log stockpile. I could put it in this space here, but I think I'm going to want this for ores and stuff, so I'm actually going to put it on this side. So what I'm going to do with that is put, let's see, first we're going to put an ashery right here, and then we can take our ash stockpile, which is what this is, and just make it a little bit bigger. It's fine. So we put a link there and a link there. We're going to do a wood furnace, or a carpenter there, and then, yeah, we'll put our carpenter here and then our wood burning furnace here. And then we've already got our ash stockpile there. Okay. Yep, we're going to take this out. We're going to move the ashery over here. So they are going to have to walk across the hall to deposit their stuff, but that means I can use this for another tunnel, or another hallway. And then here we're going to put a very large wood stockpile. And just haul a bunch of logs down there. Okay, so there's our wood production taken care of. Now we need to do our metals and our stone. So we are going to want the metals near the wood, because our wood burning guy is going to be, what we say. So here's our ashery. Here's our let's see, what's that called? Wood. It's not the ashery. It's a furnace, a wood furnace. Sorry about that. Should have muted. Okay. Right. So we're going to put our metal crafting stuff down here. So we want a charcoal stockpile. We want an ore stockpile. We want a smelter and a forge. So let's go with, let's put our ore stockpile right here. Let's think about this. I would like the ore stockpile to be able to link up to the smelter. But I want the smelter to be near, let's see. Okay, so let's put our charcoal stockpile right here. We can just make that a little bit bigger. We're going to put our smelter right here, with just a little path leading there, which I guess that doesn't really save anything because it's going to be just as fast to go around the corner there. And then an ore stockpile, which is going to be right here. Okay. And then across from that, we're going to have a forge. So it's getting a little tight down here. And a metal bar stockpile, which... Did we actually put in a wood burning spot? Dagnabbit. Sorry about that. Yeah, we did. So the wood burning furnace is here. So let's actually instead put our charcoal stockpile right there. I think that makes a lot more sense. Yeah. So then we have charcoal stockpile. We can put our... our smelter next to it. Like that. And then our ore stockpile next to that. Like that. And actually this doesn't need to be quite this big either. So smelter, ore pile, and then across from that, right here, we can put our forge, or our metal bar pile. I mean, because our smelter is going to need access to that, and then the forge here. So the forge is across the hall from the charcoal and right next to the metal bars, and then our ores are here for our smelter to grab. So the smelter grabs the ores, grabs the charcoal if they need it for what they're smelting, or yeah, grabs the charcoal and then goes down here and deposits the metal bars down here. Okay. So the last bit that we need is we need a mason's workshop, we need a gem crafter, we need a gem stockpile, and we need a craft dwarf workshop, all of which I think can go down in this corner here. So let's go ahead and put the... Oh, and we're going to want a finished goods stockpile, as well as a furniture stockpile. The furniture stockpile is going to have to be fairly large because furniture takes up a crap ton of space. I'm going to, real quick, while I'm thinking about it, make sure that I dig out my tunnels here. And I may end up having to... You know, this empty space we might end up reusing for some other purpose. We can kind of decide that a little later down the road. Wanted it to line up with the existing tunnel if I could. But that's going to intersect there. That's no good. So we'll just have a little... a little joggle here in our hallway. Now this is all dirt that I'm digging out here, so this should actually go pretty fast as far as digging all of this out. So I'm actually not too terribly concerned about just letting the miners go at it. I mean, it's going to be a little while till this is usable, but I'm kind of okay with that. We do have 2 miners and they don't have a lot to do right now, so it should be fine. The one thing that I'm slightly worried about is making sure that these farms are actually in farmable areas. If they're not, I might end up having to move the farm somewhere else. So we need our gem stockpile. We need our... Okay, so I'm going to put a rock pile down here. And this is going to, again, be pretty large, so this is going to be... about, like, yay big. Not quite as big as our wood pile, but that's fine. And that's just going to be non-economic stone, so stone that I'm fine with using for craft dwarf and... yeah, the craft dwarf shop and the mason shop. And we'll put both of those up here. So we'll do one there and one there. And we can hook this one up. And then we need our gem cutter. So we'll put him there along with a stockpile for gems. Make that just a little bit bigger. And then we'll put a finished goods pile here. Again, that's going to need to be pretty big because we're going to be doing quite a bit of rockcraft stuff. So we can just designate that whole area like that. And then what I'm gonna do is, we're just gonna make this into a corridor. I might end up going in here and walling off and shifting some. I don't know, like I'm tempted to go in here and just shift everything up a square, just because that's really bothering me, that offset. But I might just have to live with it. And then basically I'm just going to take this room and make it a lot larger like that. And then this is going to be our furniture stockpile. And that's just going to be open to the air here so that our mason and our craft dwarf, or yeah, our mason will be able to just finish the stuff and dump it right there, and then folks can come and get it. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good for a layout. I'm gonna unpause and let the dwarves go to work here. They're gonna take a while digging. Oh, okay, so we have a damp stone. Interesting. Okay, so we're gonna let them keep going, but we might end up having to work around some water here. Oh, okay, so I believe we're getting the designation just because we're digging right underneath the well here, so we should be fine. So it might end up canceling some designations, and then we'll just have to go in there and manually resume them. Yeah. So we'll let them go to town. While they're doing their thing, we need to start thinking about a hospital also. And I think it would be appropriate to put the hospital up here on the top level. See, that's something I'm a little concerned about too. Like, I could put it on the top level, and then essentially I'd have to look out for the noise would be an issue. Or I could put it down with the living quarters. But that's an awful long way for the doctor staff to run to get to the well. So I'm thinking we're just gonna put it up top. maybe we could actually use this room here as our hospital once we have our stuff moved. So yeah, let's plan on that. Okay, they're gonna be. Looks like they are gonna be running into a bunch of hitches with their digging. Let's just real quick dig out that area too. I just want to see. Yeah, okay, so yeah, so what their issue there is the fact that they're digging right underneath the well. And they're not too excited about that, but it should be fine. So we're just going to give them a little time to get some space cleared out here. So far, it is looking like it's all dirt. But one thing I'm going to do is go in here and designate all. We're going to set priority. And we can turn up the priorities on the areas that we know we're going to want right away, which is these farms here. So when you do this, they prioritize digging that stuff out first before anything else, which is useful when you designate large swaths of area like this, and you want to get something, part of it done before another part. So what we're going to do, just because I know they're going to keep giving me those little designation errors around the damp stone, is I'm just gonna have them do. Whoa, there we go. That was weird. Dig out that area first. So they're gonna prioritize getting those farms dug, and then just let them go to town afterwards. And once all these areas are moved out, then I'm gonna start working on putting up the stockpiles and getting items moved around. And then what we'll do then is designate like the economic stone and the ore pile. We're going to have those use wheelbarrows, and actually we're going to set up those wheelbarrows right now because we're definitely going to be wanting those fairly quickly. So wooden wheelbarrow is down here at the bottom. And we're going to set that for repeat. We're going to Alt-W. We're going to add a limit We're gonna make wheelbarrow. Actually, you know what? We're just gonna make like 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That should be fine. Okay, we do have one idler. Let's see who that is. That is our mechanic. And what is he up to? He doesn't have a job right now. Okay, so one thing that we do need to do is get this bridge finished. What does the bridge need? The bridge needs carpentry. So let's go in and check our dwarves. See what we got. I know there was some extra labors that I had turned on that I might want to turn back off. Masonry here for one. I know that's one of them. Okay, so we need carpentry on someone. And who is the idler right now? The idler is our mechanic. So we're going to turn carpentry on for him. Right? Yep. I'm going to commit that change. And I also want to make sure that I get some more trees set to chop here. So we're just going to make sure that this area is set. That should be fine. And turn off that priority visibility. Make sure we have plenty of logs going, because we are going to need logs galore. Alright, so it looks like he started building that bridge. It's great. Yeah, construction is nearly done. Okay, now the bridge is done, so then we can link the bridge up to the lever that we put down here. We're eventually going to need to move this lever because our little area isn't going to stay here forever, but this will work just fine for now. So we need 2 mechanisms. There we go. Link building to trig. So what that's going to do is when we pull that lever, it's going to seal our fort up completely so that folks can't get in. And then I'm going to go in and set up some traps. I'm just going to make like a little ring. Damp stone found again. Gotta love it. Oh, and now that the the bridge is built, we can turn off the carpentry on our mechanic. It's fine. And actually, I think I'm just going to set that mechanic to do an auto repeat on the making of mechanisms. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to remove. Do I want to? No. No, that'll be. We'll be okay with that. I'm sorry, I keep going back and forth. Okay, so... Oh, damp stone again. My goodness. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm checking here to make sure that when the traders show up, they're going to be able to get into my depot. So the depot's here. This this color, this kind of bluish color means that the depot, or the traders can get here when they show up. So in order for your traders to get there, they need a 3-wide path. So they have a 3-wide path into there, and then they're going to set up shop right in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to build some traps. We're going to build some cage traps. We're going to set up some cage traps right here. So that's going to be just a start on our traps. And then what that's going to do is if we get any thieves or anything trying to break in, they're going to hit the traps and get stuck in the cages. And I just had to look at the time. I realized that we're now at 39 minutes, so I'm going to stop the recording here, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.